Yeah, I just wanted to invite you to a group. So what else? Nothing you can do about it, just except for moving on. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
to the next person that wants. And then there are many that want to be. I'm in contact with this guy, and he says he cuts himself because it's easier to have physical pain than deal with emotional pain, and I get that, but we have to be willing to let the Lord heal us, and so that's what I'm talking to him about right now.
Yep, that's it. Yep. How are you doing, Ruby? I've been doing good. I came from a road trip, and now my throat is like just causing me to have like so many voice cracks now because of like mucus in it.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And it's real bad, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people right now that are kind of under the weather, and I think for at least for up here, it's because of the weather. we had a 40-degree temperature drop in Michigan, and yeah, Sunday night it was 82, and today it was 42. So yeah, that's not good. But
yeah, weather here is like really bad. Like I've described it as like it having because like I live in Texas and like it would be like it would be like really hot, but then the next day it's cold and it's raining and stuff like that. So I've described it as having a mental breakdown or something.
yeah.
And so it's like, oh my gosh.
I'm also talking to a guy on here that needs prayer. He's dealing with emotional pain, and he's cutting himself and dealing with depression, and he feels like God's forsaken him and stuff like that. So I'm going to find out what his first name is and see if we can lift him in prayer.
Oh, okay. Did he tell you like why he's doing that? Like specific reasons?
No specific reason, just said that he has mental pain. I don't know what it is though. I feel like a lot of that stuff comes from like I feel like a lot of people nowadays they want to please other people and stuff, and like a lot of people judge other people, and like I feel like as a people pleaser myself, sometimes like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like maybe if he has like something on social media or something he's like watching that's influencing him.
Yeah.
To like act the way he is, then you should like maybe ask him about that.
Mm-hmm.
Show him something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I only have like Discord and YouTube as like my social medias. Like for a while I did have Pinterest. I had Pinterest for a while, but then it became like really addictive, and so I just like deleted it.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about what we're doing on here, and maybe I'll ask if he would be open to having one of you guys talk to him as well, because he's putting these in our prayer request room anyway in public, so he's not like trying to be secretive about it. But his name is Warren Kidder, and some of his prayer requests are, obviously I don't think he's making it up or anything, but I've been, concerned about sometimes people try to get attention online, and they
I
make.
talked to him about that. He has like multiple personalities apparently.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works because like if you look at his bio, right, it says his pronouns are he, him, her, and she, and he goes by these names: Atlantic, Joaquin, and Alice. I asked him about that, and he was like, "Oh, well, I have like all these different types of personas."
I know what that is. I think it's DID or something like that.
So that may be a part of the reason why he's experiencing like these like suicidal thoughts and stuff. It's just that he gets in like this persona.
Yeah.
And it's probably influenced by TV and stuff like that too. So I mean,
right.
It's like a mental disorder, I think, or whatever it's called.
There
like
was
I said, it's called DID.
There was a guy.
What specifically is called?
There was a guy that had that, and he had 38 different personalities supposedly, and he 38 different personalities, and he was diagnosed by some of the greatest psychologists in the world. But at the end of the day, he had committed murder, rape, and he was basically free, from all that because of his claim that he had all these personalities, and he could make you believe it. You know what I mean? But then at the end of the day, he ended up fooling everybody. He didn't have all those different personalities. He made it all up. He duped everybody in the system for years.
What?
Yeah. And he was
Why
actually.
Why would he do that?
Because he was insane, but he was insane. He was insane in a way that he could obviously control it to his advantage. But he actually ended up sold his book rights to somebody, and they made a movie about him. And then he tried to get the money for the book, and he couldn't get any money because he sold it. So he was like, he's in Hollywood, and he's like, he made it all the way to Hollywood with all of this, and then he ended up losing everything.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not saying that it isn't real, because but even God can heal that. I don't believe there's anything that God can't do. Well, we all know that. I mean, he's God, but
right.
I'm going to ask him what his name is so I can pray for him.
Yeah.
Because if he won't give me his name after all of this, then I'm sorry, man.
Well, he says he has multiple names, so I'm not sure which one's real, which one's fake.
All right.
So
I'll pray for the one that he gives me, if he gives me one.
Yeah.
But when you look at somebody whose screen name is Warned Kidder, it kind of makes you wonder, are they kidding? You know what I mean?
That's true.
I mean, it kind of gives him away. I'm hoping he's being real with us, but not wasting our time. I mean, that's the problem, is I've been burned so many times by people online. I it's amazing that God's given me a lot of discernment with people, and I can kind of tell when somebody's not real and when they're real. But this guy, I don't even know. I can't even get a feel for him. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask. I'm going to pray for him, and if he's not being real, God will reveal it. So, anyway.
Oh, shoot. Dissociative identity disorder.
All right, we got this guy. And what was the other prayer request? Oh, GW. What's your brother's name?
His name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Wow, that's a great name, by the way. Okay, Emmanuel. And he's got colitis. Okay. Are they giving him any kind of medication in the hospital, obviously, for that, or what?
I think so. I want to say yes. I mean, as long as I know, they doing tests and did procedures and now giving them stronger medicine or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing currently or whatever, but yeah.
All right.
Hey, Gameboy, is this the same dude that I played video games with, or is this like a different person?
It's a different person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what's his name? What's your other brother's is like video game name? I forgot.
You mean God's Night?
Yeah, God's Night. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Strawberry, how you doing? Welcome.
Yeah, hello, Strawberry.
So he quit talking. So I don't know if he didn't want to give his name or if he's just whatever. We'll just keep praying for him. And so really, I don't have an agenda tonight like I normally do because I've been coming off of this stuff with my mom being in the hospital and everything. But I wanted to come on tonight because I wanted to tell you guys that I really believe that we're on the verge of something here. And I mean that in the sense of urgency, that we need to be praying more for this group and we need to get out more to other sites and start really reaching out. And we're going to start doing that. And I think that's the whole goal of what this is going to become, an outreach for people, because he just said that he had to go, but he said, all right, he would take the prayer. He never did give me his first name. So I'll just be honest with you. If somebody doesn't want to give me their name, it's either one of two things. Either they're very paranoid about, even giving me a first name, or they're not real. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's just paranoid, and we'll keep praying for him. I hope you guys understand that when I say this, I'm not being mean. I just been burned so many times online with people. You would never believe that somebody would fake something, and ask for fake prayers, but it happens. And unfortunately, it happens a lot. And it's a weird thing, and you have to have discernment. A lot of times, even though somebody might be faking it, I'll call them out on it, and I'll wait until I really know, and then I'll call them out, and it always works out that they admit it. I've never had anybody not admit they were faking. Because the Lord will show me. I had a lady that did that to me. I don't know. She changed her story like 4 or 5 different times. It ended up she was in an ambulance, and then she was in a hospital in New Jersey. So I called the hospital. There's nobody there by her name. Nobody there at all that was representative of her. And then so I cut her off. I called her out on it, and I cut her off. And she ended up finding me on Facebook. And once she was on Facebook, I got her real name, and she couldn't fake on there because she had family on there and everything. And so we ended up reconnecting, and I forgave her for everything. And she ended up really rededicating her life to God. She was a prostitute, a heroin addict, and everything else. And I kept talking to her. I didn't give up on her. And this is a lesson for all of us. Never give up on anybody, because you never know. And now she's a Christian woman and serving God and everything else. I never gave up on her, even though I cut her off, but she kept coming back. And she had a number of different lies, and I had to call her out on her lies. But now I'm not saying this person's lying or anyone. I'm just saying we have to be very cautious. And that's, I guess, when you're doing online ministry, that's something that you'll learn. But I think most of us here are we're not gullible. I know you guys aren't gullible. I know when you see somebody, sometimes you might wonder, is this person real? Is that person real? And I just leave it to God, to give me the wisdom to know when somebody's fake or real or not real. Have I been duped? Oh, sure. We all have, you know. I mean, it happens. I've been taken advantage of, I'm sure, many times. But yeah, DID, dissociative identity disorder. Um, what websites would we do evangelism on? I've got about 5 of them. One of them is called Rave. It's a digital site. I mean, digital. Of course, it's digital. It's a mobile site only, and it's kind of like Discord a little bit, but it's a watch together site, and you get random people that you can show a video, any kind of video or music, and people can come randomly and watch your video, listen to your music, and so you open up a chat room. Oh, you already know about it. Okay, cool. So you open up the chat room, and people come in, and you can just share Jesus with people all day in there. That's one of them. Site that I started on back in 8 years ago called Wire Club. It's a text only chat room. They don't have video chat yet. It's really old, archaic technology, but there's a lot of people on there, and I know a lot of people on there. We had the only Christian chat room on the whole site. There was thousands of people. We had the only Christian chat room on there, and we grew to be one of the largest chat rooms in that whole site through God's grace. And we had Christians that were coming in there and they were helping us. It was quite an amazing thing for a few years there. We kept it going, and then it kind of unraveled. The devil got into the works through people, which unfortunately happens, and you know, so whatever. But I'm still on there to some degree, and I have people on there that I know if we went on there, we could probably reach people. Cosme is another one. We're kind of on Cosme. We might even be using Cosme again if it's still there as a watch together room for watching movies. It's a really great technology. It's just awesome. You get a virtual room, and you behind you there's be a fireplace and a couch, and then you can basically do anything. You could share any Netflix, you could share YouTube, you can share websites, watch them right on there with everybody. You can chat. The chat room has full um, resources, Giphy files. You can share photos while you're watching a movie, while you're sharing. It's a great tool for watching movies, especially or getting together. They also have games, and that's where I was before I came on Discord. I was on Cosme, and we grew that. We had about 50. I had 50 friends on there, and they didn't have. I was on there for 2 years, and in the first year they didn't have friending where you could friend people, so that was relatively new, and we had 50 people that we had ministered to in some way or another. I'm on there again. I haven't been there since I opened it up about 2 weeks ago. The first day I had 5 random people come in. So that's another site we want to be on. But we're going to really call it the summer of chat. The summer of chat. We're going to believe God for many new people to come to Christ and to come on Discord and make Discord our main hub for now, because we like Discord. We do. I think Discord is a good app that's going to get better. I think they're going to do some things. They're trying to do some things to make it better. Okay. So hopefully that gives you some idea of what's coming down the road. And we're going to really focus on that more than just focusing on Discord alone. I don't think that's going to benefit us too much. We're not growing fast enough on Discord. Um, you have to be very aggressive on Discord with bumping the server and you got to have a game channel or something where people will come into it. I mean, we're kind of doing something different on Discord than a lot of people. Is we're doing a Christian chat, which there are a few Christian rooms, but people are finding us, so that's a blessing. Wow, that was quick. Welcome back. So one of the things that I wanted to say, and this is kind of an unusual thing, is that we have more workers, people that are signed up to help, than we have people in general. So it's like everybody that has joined that is a Christian and that is, somewhat, and a Christian committed to the Lord is actually become a worker and a helper. That's very unusual. That usually doesn't happen. So that's a good problem to have, because once we do start growing more exponentially and have more people, then we're going to have the workers already in place to handle that growth. And that was one of my concerns coming in, because I've seen chat rooms blow up, and because they don't have enough people to help, it can actually be an opposite effect where it can become problematic, because if you have people that are coming in and they have needs, like specifically maybe they need prayer for suicide, or they're discouraged or depressed, and you start getting a lot of people coming in and you don't have people trained to handle that, it can become very you don't want to turn people away. And we would never turn anybody away. If we had that kind of growth where we're starting to get a lot of people coming and wanting prayer, wanting to find the Lord, we'll just open up more channels for just specific private. Maybe see, that's the only downside to Discord, and maybe I'm wrong, but they don't really have private channels, do they? Everything seems to be public. I guess you could create a private channel, but I don't know how that works. You can make one. All right. Well, see, that's what we could do, is we can make a private channel for people that have specific needs. The prayer room is a public prayer room, and that's the closest thing that I could think of to the kind of channel that I'm talking about. So you can make it for certain roles. All right. Well, that's something. Okay. That's something that we could work on, down the road, with getting maybe a couple of channels that we could use for just bringing people that have specific needs. And what I would do is I would train you guys that want to how to counsel people with life controlling problems. See, I've been in through many different, over the years, many different courses, and how to counsel and use. I don't use I don't use the world's methods. I use God's methods. That's the only way. That's the only thing that works. But yeah, the biggest thing, Aaron, in what you said, is letting people talk is the greatest counseling tool there ever was. Because if you let somebody vent, most of the time the venting is what heals them. Because they don't have anybody to talk to. It's like poison eating them up. And if you give them a chance to talk and you're willing to listen to them, then when it comes time to give them advice, they're going to listen. And the best advice I'm going to tell you, and I think I said in May, and I'm pretty sure in May we're going to open up a couple of classes. A therapist, that's good. Well, that's great, because that's what we're going to need on here. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to start seeing people come in that need that. But this is what I'm going to tell you. The class that I'm going to teach is going to see how to witness, how to lead people to Jesus. And some of that deals with listening skills and a little bit of counseling that you can do. But the kind of counseling that you're going to do and what we're going to do is the kind of counseling that leads people to praying and asking Jesus to come into their life, because we could tell them this and that and the other, and if they don't have Christ in their heart as Lord, all of that advice is just going to go out the window. So that's the biggest part, is to get them to trust you and be able to then minister to them, and giving them scripture is the greatest thing that you can do for them. Give them the word. And so I'm going to do some teaching on how to do that. And if you want to get trained up in that, that's what this is all about. I mean, I want you to be so equipped that when somebody comes to you for help, you're going to be able to help them immediately and bring them to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And that's the key. And, you know, that's what we've done here. That's what we've done here for years. And it kind of, we got on Discord and it just kind of poof, dried up. I haven't seen hardly very many people saved here, but we built a team here, which is what I'm saying. It's almost like God was saying, hey, you got to have the team first. And once the team is together, then you can go out and win people to the Lord. And then that's where all your gifts from God will start to develop. You know, like you say, you might have a gift for counseling, and that's awesome. And being able to share good advice with people and listening to people is a big, huge part of evangelism. It really is, you know. And I used to say all the time, if you're not willing to get messy, then you're not willing to do evangelism, because when you really give yourself to the Lord and to helping other people, it gets messy, because they're not, you know, perfect, and they're going to, you know, share all the deep, dark secrets. And the only thing you can do is say, well, you know what? Jesus Christ died for you on the cross. He loves you, and he's your Redeemer. And that's what we have to do. So a lot of what I'm going to say is that when we are building like these teams, and we're building an outreach team, and we talked about using, you know, social media and all of that to, you know, draw people in by giving them an advertisement or you know, just a notification reminder, hey, we're having a service tonight. Alex with his NDE. Yeah, we need to remember Alex too. I'm writing this stuff down so that we can pray before we go tonight. But so when you're, you know, involved in the ministry, you're getting involved in people's lives, and you're helping people. And maybe it's just a kind word or encouragement, or maybe it's praying for somebody or saying, hey, well, I'm going to pray for you. That can be a life-changing thing. And it doesn't seem like it to us because it's just normal. But to somebody that doesn't know the Lord yet, it can be life-changing. And so there's all kinds of ways that we can reach out and be used by God. But one of the things is, like, you know, we talk about having follow-up with people. New people that join our server, well, it would make sense if we're online, we created this group, and somebody joins it, it would make sense that we would want to do everything we can to reach out to that person because they're already in our group. And so we need to do everything we can to try to contact those people within a couple of days. And some people don't want to be contacted. That's fine. They'll let you know. And you just say, okay, I'll make a note not to bother you again. I'm sorry. I just wanted to reach out in Jesus' name. And usually after that, they'll say, oh, that's okay, But, whatever it is that we do here, we have to have a goal. And the goal is to bring people to Christ. Obviously, that's the goal. That's no other reason other than we want to build each other up too in the fellowship. And you need that. We need that. We need fellowship. We need to encourage each other to serve God, because it's easier to serve God with other people than to try to serve God alone. It's not easy to serve God alone. And it can be very discouraging if you don't have friends or other people. And if you have somebody that you can be accountable to, that's a good question. My rule is this: if you contact somebody and they absolutely tell you they don't want to be bothered or whatever, I make a note. I put it next to their name on my file. Well, let me just back up. Let me share with you what I do. I have, I don't know if you can see, it's just a piece of paper. And I write down the names of people. Wow, what happened to my camera? There we go. I write down the names of people that are, wow, that's all blurry. Oh, there you go. The names of people that I'm following up with. And I will write their names down. Now, on some websites I've had people's emails even, and I would write their email down. If somebody says to me, I don't want to be contacted, I write that next to their name, don't contact. And I'll pray for them. That's all I can do at that point. If I contact them again, it's just going to make them mad. I'm not being a good witness if I'm making somebody mad. So that's my way of dealing with it. But my way of doing follow up, and this is maybe something that you can do, is you can write down anybody that's in the group that's new that joins. And I don't care if 15 people contact that person. That's awesome. If I'm new to a group and 15 people contact me, that makes me feel important. It makes me feel good. Now, some people, again, they're on the other end of the spectrum. They get mad and they don't want to be contacted. Fine, write that on a note. Say, well, you're sorry. I just wanted to reach out to you in Jesus' name. And just say it just like that. And it'll calm them down. They'll be like, the Bible says a soft answer turns away wrath. So I always use that principle with people. A soft answer is something that you say in kindness. When you answer their anger in kindness, there's not a whole lot of things for them to do at that point other than say, oh, that's okay. Because, most people, unless they're just trolling you, are going to back down at that point and say, that's okay, whatever. And then you just make that note and you pray for them. But hopefully there's so many new people joining that unfortunately that person that you weren't able to reach, and you're still praying for them, you're still concerned about them, but there's nothing you can do for them at that point here anyway. That doesn't mean God can't work in their life otherwise, just on Discord. That's, whatever. So you move on to the next person. And I'm not going to put any kind of limitations on that. If we have 5 people in our team and 5 people reach out to that one person, I'm fine with that, because like I said, it makes them feel important. Like, hey, man, that they really must like me here. They all contacted me, or 5 people, or whatever, or 3. Eventually, I would like to have a follow-up team, and that your job would be to specifically reach out to new people. And I think at some point we'll be able to do that. We'll have so many new people joining. That we're going to need a follow-up team. Follow-up team is an interesting thing because it's not just following up with somebody. It's also sending them messages. If we have email at some point, emails, It would be using emails to email people. But in this case, it would be like a direct message. I'm thinking that we need to have like a customary letter written up. Maybe that's something somebody could work on. A welcome letter, not just something that a robot sends them, although that's not a bad idea, but something that's, drawn up from us as a group. This is, from Jesus Connect, not one person, but just from Jesus Connect. And this is what, we're, thanks for joining us, whatever. Add a few things, times of services and things like that. I think I have something like that already that I'm doing. But if somebody else wants to write something, and you can personalize it if you want to, I don't care. It doesn't have to be just from Jesus Connect. But anyway, my point is, if you do follow up, then there's like 3 or 4 stages of follow up. There's the initial welcome to the group letter, and then if they don't come back, then in another week, you'll notice that you'll get that from companies on your email. If you have an email, you'll get they'll send you one initial welcome letter, and then maybe the next week you'll get another one. Hey, I noticed you didn't set up your app yet. Do you need some help? And then you'll get a third one like a week later. We're still here for you. And then after that, they might not give you any more. Yeah, but you get about 3, welcome or follow-up notices. And businesses do this. It's all a marketing strategy, right? At that point, you're trying to gain that person. But in Christ, it's totally different. You're not doing it as a strategy. You're not doing it as a marketing campaign. You're doing it as human touch, human contact with somebody that needs Christ. So it comes off a lot different, and you're not there to invade their space. You're not there to make them feel, we don't want to ping somebody every day. That's not our goal. But objectively, we want to reach out to people that are coming into the server, and then we want to reach out to people we've never reached out to before. And we can use TikTok too. I admit I'm not a TikTok person. It's kind of a younger person thing. So if you've got ideas for TikTok or something you'd like to do, and bring it back to Jesus Connect with a backlink, you can also do that on YouTube. I've shared this before. YouTube has this feature where you can comment on a video. And the interesting thing about that is you find a worship video or, something biblical, and you have people that go on the comments, and you can put a backlink. Backlink is, we call it a hyperlink. And if you don't know what that is, it's just a website address. This is why I want to have one place where you could send everybody, so everybody has the same URL, as it were, to give somebody to Jesus Connect so they can easily find us on the web. And you'd think that would be an easy thing to do, but it's not. Unless you have a really good website that you're willing to put out there and stuff like that. We're using Discord links, backlinks. And the problem is, I don't know what's going on here with Discord, but if I make a link permanent, like the next day it goes back to 7 days. It expires. And I don't know how to make it, I don't know how to keep it permanent. I've tried like so many different ways to keep the link permanent because I don't want it to expire. If I send a link out and it expires, guess what happens? When somebody clicks on it a month later, it's a dead link. It goes nowhere. It's useless. You don't want to have a useless link. You don't want to spend all the time putting out a URL link to draw people back to your ministry or Discord or whatever, and it not work. So can anybody explain to me why that would be the case? Why does that link not stay permanent? And if it's something that I'm doing wrong, I don't know what it is, because I'm copying, I'm saving it, I'm making it permanent, I'm saving it, and then the next day I go on there, or the next couple days, or whatever and try to send a link out, it tells me it expires in 7 days. Is that something, GW, that you can look into and see if maybe you could figure out how to make that link permanent? Seems like it's supposed to work like that, but it's not. And we don't want to, it's fine to use Discord as a backlink, and you know what I'm talking about, right? If you're inviting somebody to Discord, you're probably going to send them a link. Now, a cube, we talked about doing the scan code, and we do have one for Jesus Connect, but I'm not a code person. I don't use those a lot. I'm not opposed to using it, but I'm still not sure about, and again, I don't want to confuse you guys, but what I was saying about using YouTube is you could put links in there that in the comments and people will click on it, and that's a great way to get new people free. If 20,000 people viewed a video on YouTube and you have 10,000 people that commented on that, that's a potential of 10,000 people that are viewing your hyperlink, because people read the comments. Believe it or not, people read. I don't know why. I don't know who has the time, but people read those comments in the YouTube videos and they comment on the comments. It's a free way to advertise Discord, Jesus Connect, and everything else. And it's simple, but you got to have a link. You got to have a workable link to do that. Now, that's something that we can do in the outreach team. I got a lot of things. I got a lot of ideas. But the problem is I don't want to inundate everybody with a lot of ideas. So, but basically the idea is we want to get the word out about what we're doing. And there's a lot of ways to do it where you don't have to spend a lot of money advertising and all of that. We'll do some advertising. And we're going to do events. Events are the way to do it. The reason that I looked at my Facebook ad, it ran 7 days. I only spent $19, which is pretty cheap. And we had over 1,000 hits, and we had well over 100 clicks to a link that didn't go anywhere. It went to an expired Discord link that doesn't work. So they could join Discord, but it won't connect them to Jesus Connect on Discord. It'll actually take them to a 404 page with the Discord link on it. That's no good. That's a waste of effort. And the other thing was that the website, because we're not really using that domain right now, the website didn't pull up anything either. So again, we got to get that fixed. And we're spending money to advertise to get people to come to our sites or our events. And the idea was, well, we'll put a Google video link in there, and that was a good idea. That way people could join Google real quick. But that's not a permanent link either. That link expired. So something that's simple, like just having a link, has become complicated mess. You know what I'm saying? We got to fix it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to figure this out. And the next time I do any kind of advertising at all, I'm going to make sure that, especially if I'm going to, Facebook is a universal. I hate Facebook. I use it only because it's a tool that helps me communicate with a lot of different people. I like the fact that Elon Musk, sounds like a clone, bought Twitter. And I think that's a great move on his part, because, he's going to restore free speech on Twitter, which means that now everybody can get, that's kicked off Twitter can get back on there and have a voice. Twitter is just one of those things that came along that opened up the world globally to news. And it's used for that. And I don't like Twitter either. I don't like any social media. I hate it. But it's one of those necessary evils. If we're going to reach people, you have to kind of be on there. So anyway, I'm thinking of just putting my Facebook page link up for now, because most people in the world are on Facebook and they can find me very easily. And I'm going to put all of our links on the Facebook page. So when people look up my Facebook page, they'll have a link to Discord, they'll have a link to anything else that we're doing. And you can create a live event page on Facebook so it reaches anybody in not just Facebook, but anybody in the world. And if people click on that link, now they're getting a link that actually goes somewhere and they get information. Makes sense. And then we get more people coming to our events. We get more people coming to Discord. And everything that we're talking about becomes a reality. Instead of just talking about it, we actually have people. We actually have a need now for all these things that we've been talking about. This is all preparation, right? We talked about the harvest. We talked about planting the seed and getting the ground ready. And I have to do that here where I live. We got a beautiful yard out there, and the dogs trampled it down. It's all, half of it is all mud. So got to plant some seed, get some grass growing. This is what we've been doing for a long time. It's been planting the seed, getting the ground ready. And now comes the harvest. Now comes the picking of the harvest, bringing in the harvest, right? And that's people, right, that need Christ. That's people that are coming into our chat wanting prayer, right? That want God to touch them in their life. And so that's now is the harvest. So we're ready to pick the harvest. And God has you here for a reason, because you're going to be used. You're going to help people. You're going to be able to talk to somebody or pray with somebody or help somebody find Christ right here in this little chat room on the internet. And all of these things that we're doing, and if you want to learn how to do them, if you want to learn how to reach out, you want to learn how to witness, you want to learn how to disciple people, you want to learn how to use the internet, we're going to make it happen here. This is what this is all about. And I told you, I'm getting back to my roots, what God called me to do. He called me. My thing is this. I'm going to share this, and you guys can take this and you can write it down or whatever. But the book of Acts, you should get very familiar with that book, because it's the church in action. It's the church in action. It's like the training manual for how to do ministry, how to be the church. It's the training manual. It's the beginning, when the church was launched through the apostles and through the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. The Acts of the Apostles. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and then Acts. So I took the acronym for Acts, ACTS. You can write this down. This is Jesus Connect. Basically in a nutshell, what Jesus Connect is all about. A is always. A is always. C is caring. T is teaching. Always caring, teaching. And then S is sharing. Always caring, teaching, sharing. ACTS. Always caring, teaching, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. See, that's really what Jesus Connect is. Always caring, teaching, and sharing. Everything we do. Every time we do a chat, every time we do a live stream, every time we get online, it should always be we're caring for somebody, we're teaching, and we're sharing the gospel, right? So that's the acronym that I use for Jesus Connect. Always caring, teaching, sharing. And if you remember that, then it makes sense that everything I'm saying about going on other sites and reaching out and planting seed, using this as a training ground for helping you. And I'm not saying I know everything. I don't. I learn from you guys. I can learn anything. I mean, I'm not saying I know everything. I mean, you share something with somebody, and if it's a good idea and it works, then hey. But God has put me in a position online to be a trainer, a facilitator, a teacher, and that's what I want to do. I want to leave you guys with something that impacts your life eternally and helps you to impact other people eternally. And so that's what we're going to be doing in May is a lot of, okay, we're talking about getting ready, right? Getting trained up. And then in June, we're going to start and actually go into these chat rooms and do it. And we're going to do some training on it first. So May is going to be a month of training around here. Now, I have a site that is free. You can join it, and you can even become an administrator on it, and you can become a teacher on it as well. I'm not saying you would want to do that, or maybe you would. I don't know. But at any rate, we're going to use it for our training classes, okay? And it's a simple site you'll go to, and we can get a chat room in there, and just start training and teaching, share videos and whatever. So probably one night a week, I'll do a class, and then it's going to grow from there. So we'll probably start out with the witnessing class, and then we'll kind of do a few weeks on that, and then maybe we'll do a few weeks on how to disciple people that are coming into the faith. It's two things that are really, I think, essential to what we're doing here. And I know that Ruby is having some trouble with her audio, but does that sound exciting? Does that sound exciting? It does to me. I can't tell you, if we can get this accomplished for the Lord and do this stuff, it's going to be awesome. I'm sorry that she's having trouble, man. But anyway, I got this recorded on YouTube, so I'll be sending this out to everybody, this video. Another thing is we're always wanting to, use every means possible to share the gospel. So if you know of a chat room or somewhere on the internet where we could go, let me know. I'm open to it. Or if you have an idea for a way to share the gospel on here, let me know, because I think what we're doing right now is in the beginning stages of things. Thank you for that, for putting that out there. There is another video chat that we've been considering using for a Team Jesus Connect. It's called Around, and it's kind of a neat new kind of a video chat thing. It actually record. Somebody can write the notes of the meeting down while I'm talking or whatever, or while we're discussing something, and then everybody gets the notes in their email at the end of the service, and then we can also record it. But it's got a lot of tools in it for sharing and things like that, and it kind of sits in the background, so you could be on Discord and be on voice and then watching the video on Around Chat at the same time. Around Chat kind of sits, they call it Around because it's kind of around in the background. It doesn't take up your whole screen, so you could be doing other things, and it's like a little circles. You can have people interacting and stuff while you're surfing the web. It's something that you could have on all the time. If you wanted to have a chat with somebody, you could do private chats and things. It's just something that we're experimenting with as a way to have, like, sometimes it's not always good to be on just one site, especially if you're wanting to talk about things that are more ministry related and stuff. Sometimes you don't want to be like on Discord, because then other people come in, and then now you've got, maybe you were trying to have more of a team oriented meeting rather than a public meeting. So anyway, that's something that we might be able to use as well going forwards and help us to get more teaching out there. We might use that as our teaching platform because it has some pretty cool things on it that I've never seen before. Like it has games built into it. You could actually play user games, group games, poll questions. You can there's all kinds of different ways to communicate with each other in the chat. So it's kind of a unique thing. We're testing it out right now. We might use that in conjunction with that courses site. So we would have the video up and then we'd have the courses site up and you would see everything that we're teaching. It would be like a document. We could share documents in there. So you would actually see the course, and I'm going to make it available on as a document and as a YouTube video. So you'd be able to, if you miss a class, you could just pick up on where we left off. But we're going to share some good stuff with you, stuff that, I mean, this is like 35, 40 years of stuff packed into a few weeks. So you're going to learn. And if you want this kind of stuff, if you think this is what you want to be involved in, then this is going to get really exciting. I believe it. All right. Well, let's do this closing in prayer for these that have asked for prayer tonight. Anybody else got anything before we close in prayer? Anybody got anything that you want to share, add, feedback, anything? I want to give you guys a chance.
Yeah, does everyone know how to bump the server? Because I know the confusion sometimes is it's kind of hard. All you do is pretty much just / and you have to wait for the command to pop up on the Discord, I guess commands or stuff like that. Because it automatically shows the command. That's the tough part for Discord to respond to the / because everything is pretty much trying to be integrated to Discord itself.
So when you put / you'll see it on a scroll down and it'll say bump the server or whatever.
Yeah, / and then you click on bump in that bump channel though.
It'll tell you how to do it.
Pretty much. I mean, okay. I'm just doing it by just hit / and then it'll actually show the commands.
Oh, strawberry. Yeah, I changed it from 7 days to never. And it keeps going back to 7 days. It like never saves it. That's what I say. I'm going to see if maybe somebody else, yeah, maybe I'll have GW try it on his end. Maybe it's something to do with me. I don't know. Try to make that invite link permanent. Because I went back and clicked on a couple of links I sent to Facebook. They were like a month-old links, and they didn't work. And I'm wondering why people can't get on, like, because some people don't read their Facebook every day. Sometimes they don't even come on but once in a great while. And if they're getting a link and they're not joining us, that's probably why, because it expired. So, I mean, there's another way to do it. I can put everything in my face. I don't use my Facebook page like I should. That is a great tool for everything. And I just need to use it, I guess. But anyway, we should be able to get a permanent Discord link somehow. It's supposed to work. I mean, it's just for some reason it doesn't. It might be something we might need to contact them about and ask them if they could look into it. If you contact 7 people on the internet, on your Facebook page, or on your social media or wherever, out of 7 people, 3 of them are on Discord already. Did you know that? That's how many people are on Discord. That's crazy. 7 random people, 3 of them are already on Discord. They already have a Discord address. They don't even need to join it. They just need to get the link and they can join us. That's how crazy Discord is becoming. You got